The Yangtze River, Asia's longest river, home to 400 million people, to megadams and cargo ships and cities of glass. But 20 million years before any of that, before any human hand touched its banks, the river had a goddess. She was bluish-gray, barely 2 meters long, nearly blind. She navigated by sound, a sonar so precise it could map the world through green murk that no human eye could penetrate. Her Chinese name, Bai Duitun, baiji, the flag bearer, left behind. She survived ice ages. She survived the rise of civilizations. She outlasted empires. She was here for 20 million years. Then she met us. The baiji was an accident of geography and time. 25 million years ago, her ancestors swam in from the Pacific Ocean and found the Yangtze, and stayed. Generation by generation, they adapted. The river was dark and silty, so eyes became irrelevant. Echolocation became everything. Over millions of years, she developed one of the most sophisticated sonar systems in the animal kingdom. Clicks from the melon organ in her forehead, reading the world in returning sound. She knew the river the way no creature with eyes ever could. She was the sole representative of an entire mammal family, Lipotidae, a 25 million year lineage, a unique branch of the tree of life, with no relatives anywhere else on Earth. She was social and playful, observed swimming belly up for joy, chasing companions through the shallows, playing with objects in captivity. She was, by every measure we have for such things, a sophisticated, intelligent, deeply alive animal who had made a home of the river long before the river had a name. She entered human culture almost as early as humans came to the Yangtze. The Iria, the oldest surviving Chinese dictionary, written around 200 BCE, records the baiji. And in the myths told by fishermen along the river's banks for 2,000 years, she was a goddess. The legend says a young woman, fleeing an evil stepfather on the river, leapt into the Yangtze and was transformed. The storm that rose sank the boat, took the man, and left in his place a beautiful white dolphin who would forever protect the fishermen she swam beside. The goddess of the Yangtze, a symbol of peace, prosperity, and protection. For millennia, fishermen did not hunt the baiji. To harm her was to invite disaster. To see her before a journey meant safety. The cultural reverence was not perfect conservation, but it was something. It was a 2,000-year relationship in which humans and dolphins shared a river and understood, in whatever language the human heart speaks about such things, that some creatures are not ours to destroy. That understanding held until it didn't. 1958. The Great Leap Forward. Mao's industrial campaign decreed that traditional reverence for the baiji was superstition. The goddess was stripped of her sacred status by ideology, and so the hunting began. Purchasing stations along the Yangtze bought dead dolphins from fishermen, for meat, for oil, for leather that became bags and gloves. An animal protected by culture for 2,000 years became meat within a decade. But the hunting was only the beginning. As China industrialized, the Yangtze became an artery of commerce. Rolling hook longlines, hundreds of sharp hooks trailing behind fishing boats, snared baiji who couldn't see them until it was too late. If a hooked dolphin couldn't surface to breathe, it drowned. Ship traffic multiplied. By 1992, 221 ports on the Yangtze. By 2006, 19,830 large vessels plowing through the river. Douglas Adams visited in 1988 and described what it must have been like for the baiji navigating that. Like a blind man trying to live in a discotheque, or several competing discotheques. And then the Three Gorges Dam, the largest dam ever built. Completed in 2003, it fragmented what habitat remained, changed the river's behavior, and opened calmer water to yet larger ships. The river the baiji had navigated by sound for 20 million years had become, in the space of 50 years, a roaring, toxic, hook-filled highway. She had no way to adapt fast enough. Nothing could. The numbers tell the story in the only language that cannot be argued with. In 1950, before China's industrialization had fully taken hold, perhaps 6,000 baiji in the Yangtze. By the 1980s, hundreds. By 1984, 400. By 1990, 100. By 1997, 13. 13. In the entire river, in one of the most populated regions on Earth. The baiji was not going. She was already gone. There was one captive baiji in the world, a male, rescued as an injured juvenile in 1980, brought to the Wuhan Institute of Hydrobiology. His name was Chi-Chi. He lived there for 22 years, tended by Professor Wang Ding, visited by scientists and journalists from around the world. In 1988, Douglas Adams sat by his tank and looked at the last baiji most humans would ever see. In 1995, a female was captured, the one chance at a breeding pair. She died within 6 months. Chi-Chi and this female were the last two baiji in captivity, in separate facilities, never brought together. Never given the one thing that might have extended the species, each other. On July 14, 2002, Chi-Chi died of old age, and the world lost its last witness to what the baiji had been. In November 2006, 2 research vessels set out on the Yangtze River for what would become the most thorough and the most heartbreaking wildlife survey in history. 60 scientists from 6 countries, sophisticated hydrophone arrays trailing behind each vessel, listening for the echolocation clicks that would betray a living baiji. They covered the entire 1,669 kilometers of the baiji's historical range. They counted what they found: 19,830 large vessels on the river. One ship approximately every 100 meters of river. Not one baiji click. Not one surfacing. 6 weeks. 1,669 kilometers. Nothing. When the team returned to port in December 2006, Dr. Samuel Turvey sat down to write up the results. His language was careful, scientific, measured. But the paper, published in Biology Letters on August 7, 2007, carried one sentence that could not be read any other way. We are forced to conclude that the baiji is now likely to be extinct, and this is the first global extinction of a large vertebrate for over 50 years. 25 million years of evolution. An animal that had outlasted glaciers, geological upheaval, and 5 mass extinctions. Gone. In 50 years, while we were watching. What did we lose, exactly? Not just an animal. We lost 25 million years of evolutionary history, a lineage that branched off from ocean dolphins when the Tethys Sea was still draining into what became the Himalayas. We lost echolocation so precise it could locate a coin on the bottom of a murky river. We lost a creature that the people of the Yangtze had lived alongside for millennia, calling her the goddess of the Yangtze, the white flag dolphin, protecting her in their stories, if not, in the end, in their river. We lost the marker species for an entire ecosystem. The Yangtze finless porpoise, her close neighbor, still alive, still there, is now critically endangered. Same river, same story, different pace. The baiji is what conservation biologists call a canary in a coal mine. Except no one was listening. The world now has a new term: anthropogenic extinction. A species eliminated entirely by human activity. Not a meteor, not a disease, not an ice age. Us. The baiji is the first large vertebrate we can confirm we erased since the Thylacine in 1936. She will not be the last. Douglas Adams visited Chi-Chi in 1988 and wrote afterward, "We were looking at the last of an evolutionary lineage that had survived for 25 million years. It was very beautiful and very quiet and very alone." He then asked the question that no one wanted to answer. Will the next century be remembered as the century in which we woke up to what we were doing? Or as the century in which it was already too late? The baiji, Lipotidae vexillifer, was not just a dolphin. She was a test of whether we could notice what we were destroying before we finished destroying it. We failed the baiji, but the Yangtze finless porpoise is still there. The vaquita is still there. The Irrawaddy dolphin is still there. They are all being failed in the same ways the baiji was failed. Slowly, incrementally, each threat too small to seem urgent. Each year the numbers a little lower, the alarms a little quieter. The goddess of the Yangtze is gone. Whether she is a warning or an epitaph depends on what we do next. Not what we feel, not what we say, what we actually do to the rivers we still have, while the animals in them are still alive to benefit from it.